You know, one of the things that's always been really important to me, when I was coming onto the council or thinking about joining the city council was, how can I, make a difference within the community that I love, right? I raised my family here, and I've lived here for some 8 years, and so how can I make a difference? How can I leave this place in a better position than it was prior? And through the inspiration of Lisa, my partner in everything, and you, Tyler, I learned about the challenges that a lot of our residents face, especially those that are seniors. Each and every one of them that I've spoken to has this desire to age in place in their home. Many of them find themselves in a position where they're house rich and cash poor. And so it dawned on me that this is a particular segment within our population that we need to give extra attention to, that we need to support as much as we possibly can. As you can imagine, and as maybe some of you have seen with family members, or maybe experienced this yourself, that once your driver's license is taken away from you, then it's really hard for you to function within this community. You can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to meet up with friends, you can't do much of anything at all. And so, again, I thought we could do better. Not to mention, as I got involved in these various things, I started to realize that Saratoga happens to have a distinction in having the largest percentage population of seniors within the community. And so when you put those things together, it just became apparent and obvious that we need to address that as best we possibly can. And so I think we'll talk about some of those programs in a bit, I'm sure, since you're here and asking me questions. These are ones that are near and dear to your heart as well. But that's what motivates me, and that's what drives me. And if we can make a dent to make it a little bit easier for our seniors to live in their homes and have a vital, active lifestyle, then I'll be able to walk away from the city council at some point and be proud.
Wow. One of the things that we've shared in conversations, and I've heard you quote several times, is your belief that a strong community, a good community, takes care of its seniors and its youth. But in a recent conversation, you added something to that, and I thought that was pretty relevant. Can you tell them a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so again, I've said this many, many times, and so you guys are probably tired of hearing it, but again, I've always felt that great cities are those that take care of their youth and take care of their seniors. But then there's also this other element, right, and those who take care of their poor, right? We can't neglect them either. The unfortunate circumstance is that many of our seniors find themselves to be in that position of being poor also, as I mentioned earlier. And so if we can incorporate another element to the whole equation, right? Darwin's theory of evolution is survival of the fittest and natural selection, but there's one element that is missing, and that is the element of cooperation. We as a society can achieve greatness if we are working together. And again, we help each other, especially those that need the help most. So again, it's not just enough of understanding who the vulnerable group is within the community, but also putting things in place to be cooperative, to be supportive, and to enable them the full value of their life here in Saratoga.
That there's a lot of evidence behind that in the council's continuing support of different community agencies and partners that allow the city, as a minimum service city, to really reach out and make a difference in people's lives and their residents. And speaking of partnerships, Supervisor Simidian, in his State of the County address, spoke about partnership and progress. And in this city, it's really reflected well. And in particular, of course, I'm the senior center guy, so I'm going to talk about those issues. But we've made some strides beyond just seniors and into the age-friendly realm, which really connects all ages and walks of life. So tell us a little bit about that and how you actually began the process of getting the city of Saratoga designated as age-friendly and some of the projects that you're proud of with that.
Okay. Before I dive into that, I just got to share a story of Joe and myself, the time that we had lunch, and we went to the burger bar in our downtown area. And so he's chuckling, he knows what I'm going to say. We went there for lunch. There was no agenda or purpose necessarily, but of course, as he always does, in the spirit of cooperation and working together, he asked me, what's going on in Saratoga, and what can I do to help? And I told him about our senior center and how there's two elements of our senior center. One that is of all the recreational activities associated with them, the ping pong and so forth, as we saw in Cahoot. But also there's the adult care center, which is like a care center for children, right? A care center for seniors. These are the more frail population within the city. And so again, I shared with him the fact that we were this close to basically closing the doors on it because we could not no longer support it financially. And he says, how much money do you guys need? I gave him the number, and it was a fairly large number. And he says, well, let me see what I can do. And he said, but he put a caveat on it from the standpoint of, it's sometimes difficult, the county board of supervisor realm, in order to have things be adopted. After all, they do address the concerns of the poor, the homeless, and so forth. They're most frail, right? That's their focus. And he shared with me that, it's a little difficult to get, folks to really pay attention when I'm bringing something up in the mean old streets of Saratoga. And again, I chuckled with that, but it was very meaningful from the standpoint that it was a bit of a battle, and it would be a bit of an effort in order to make this happen for us. And he did, right? And he came through, and we managed to maintain the doors, and now it thrives. Individuals there that are a large group of veterans from our community, and they are in large numbers showing up and getting the service that they need, giving a bit of respite for their family members. And so it's again, another example of how we work in cooperation with one another. And again, Joe, thank you so much for your efforts. And Dave Cortese, who serves on the same body, right? I know that it takes a vote, a majority vote of the entire body in order for these things to happen. So again, thank you to both of you for that. Now, back to the question. What was the question?
Our partnerships and how we use those partnerships to progress.
Yes. Yeah. So again, Lisa and Tyler came to me and told me about a program that was going on across the world. It's called World Health Organization's Age Friendly, of course, yeah. And so we partnered with AARP in order to put together a program that once again allows our seniors to age in place as long as they possibly can. And again, because we have a large percentage population, we took it upon ourselves to kind of be the leaders in this area, to maybe embark on certain things, try some things out, and share with our fellow cities and councils in terms of what works and what doesn't work, and type thing. And so it was one of the few times that we as a city take that type of leadership role in a particular realm. So I was really proud of that. So again, as a result of bringing together a group of people, a cross-section of the community that has never been brought together in one purpose ever before, it was really, really fantastic. We had individuals, and Lisa and you correct me if I missed anybody, we had the Chamber of Commerce, we had the fire department, the sheriff's office, we had public works and all of our city staff, we had the high school, because it's multi-generational, we had, who am I missing here? The college, the library, ministerial, thank you, fish rep, right? Number 3, good job. Yeah, Eric Swanson, right? Presbyterian, the minister at the West Hope Presbyterian Church, an amazing partner for us who engaged with this. There's only so much that we can do as an entity. We need partners in order to achieve our results, and this is a perfect example of that. Bringing people together, so many great minds, each with their own vision and plans in order to provide or make this a better place for seniors.
I mean, it's an investment, right? It's an investment not only of resources, time, and people's dedication, but it's also an investment of money. You know, you can't make very much happen with good intentions. You know, you can get something started, but you do need people to back it up. And just a small, kind of just a window into the process that it takes for a community to become age-friendly and try to unite everyone. We started with a community assessment that the city paid for. We were able to take a real deep look into the issues facing our seniors and what it was like for them to get older in place. We used that to design an action plan, and we're carrying through that action plan even to this day under Lisa Oakley's leadership. The other cities, every single city in Santa Clara County is an age-friendly community, and it's the nation's first county to become completely age-friendly. And our county supervisors and all of our representatives from our other neighboring communities have all invested in this to a great degree, in particular with the RIDE Senior Transportation Program that we're all very proud of. So those are just some great examples, Manny, and I really appreciate you sharing that with us today. Now, moving on to another topic here. We're in a beautifully renovated whole entire space, and we're going to talk more about that later, but the city of Saratoga has a new service provider for its recreation services. Can you tell a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's new, but it's not really new. Los Gatos Saratoga Rec Department has been in place for decades, and they've been providing recreational services for all the communities that surround us, including Campbell. I know that some of my co-referents from Campbell are here, Los Gatos, and so forth. And so this is an organization that we've been working with for a long, long time. However, we find that right now they are taking a much larger role in providing those rec services to our community, and we're thrilled to have them as part of our team in a much stronger way.
Wonderful. Now, you mentioned the partnerships and also the improvements. We saw a lot of the questions here about roads and what things have been improved recently here. And there was a ceremony recently at the Prospect Center. Another ribbon cutting, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? That was very exciting.
Yeah, so Prospect Road, one of our major arterials through Saratoga on the north end, the extreme north end. In fact, we share the border with Chappie, who is on the city council in San Jose. And so, we had done improvements on each of our major arterials. This one here had not been completed. And partly because, and forgive me, Chappie, no disrespect at all, it really wasn't a priority associated with San Jose. They own one half of the road, or the one side of the road. Saratoga owns the other side, and so they had other bigger fish to fry. And so from that standpoint, we just never could align our intentions perfectly to be able to do this earlier. But our amazing Public Works Department managed to secure the largest single grant that Saratoga has ever received in the sum of $5.3 million. Yeah, it was amazing. John Chabon and Macedonio Nunez are the key individuals associated with that, but again, the entire Public Works Department really went to bat on that one and achieved and received this grant. So, not only did we make tremendous safety improvements to the roadway, but we also made some aesthetic beautification improvements to the area. We coupled it with the neighborhood entrances that came off of Prospect, giving them each neighborhood an opportunity to do beautiful signage and entrances to their community, and everyone's been really thrilled. So whether you travel Prospect Road on bike, on foot, by bus, and I'm missing one.
Chair.
Or
I
chair.
travel down by a wheelchair also. It's
chair and foot.
It's safe.
Yeah. Right. I'm sorry.
Or using RIDE.
Or using
the
RIDE.
RIDE program.
Absolutely, the RIDE program, right? No matter what mode of transportation, even if you're walking, you're going to find that the improvements are there that make it safer. I mean, it was kind of crazy. We had a street, right, that goes from Saratoga Sunnyvale Road all the way to Lawrence Expressway, in which if you walked the street, you would find that there were intermittent sidewalks, for God's sakes, right? You'd be on a sidewalk and then you'd find that, oh, there's no more sidewalk, it's dirt, and so now we've got to walk in the roadway for a period of time only to find another piece of sidewalk. I mean, that was the situation that we had. Now, not only do we have continuous sidewalks that go the entire length, but we have median in improvements with plantings, trees, and so forth that are in there that are beautiful, but nonetheless, what we've learned and what we know is that when you improve the medians, it actually reduces the speed of traffic, as well as a natural calming effect on vehicular traffic. And so again, the improvements are amazing. We've already seen the results associated with it. I had the ability to be part of to do the ribbon cutting. Luckily, it just fell on the time that I was mayor. But again, this is a reflection of the entire council's commitment and prioritizing in such a way that we can get this thing done.
You know, there are so many projects that we could talk about here today with the commitment of the council. You guys had a 2020 Trees by 2020 initiative. You also opened up what used to be No Name Park is now called Friendship Park. And so I think the list goes on. And as we all mingle and enjoy the outside, which is one of the best projects yet, please ask Manny and any of the council members more about those very special projects.
Yeah, you mentioned the 2020 initiative, and so back in 2016, when I was mayor, I challenged the council and our city to plant 2,020 trees by the year 2020. And it was because we just come through a major drought, and a lot of our tree canopy, which we value very much in our city, was eliminated, right, destroyed. And so we embarked on this, and I'm happy to say as of March of this year, 2019, we've exceeded the 2020. And so I'm really proud of that. Again, we're a Tree City USA. We've been one for a long, long time, and that just reflects not only the values of the council, but also the values of the community overall.
Well, you know, one of the things that Saratoga is known for is to be good stewards of their finances and resources, be able to pull off these type of projects, and you know, I think some of the information here related to that would be good to bring up as well.
Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna ask our Vice Mayor Howard Miller to join us on stage, because he, in the years that he's been on the council, he's always been on the finance committee. He knows our budget like the back of his hand, and from that standpoint, I think he can do a much better job in terms of responding to that question than me. So, Howard.
Normally the best part about being vice mayor is you got to sit on the sides and just make sure the mayor looks good. So give me the weird ones. The city of Saratoga's financial philosophy is not necessarily the same as some large cities. You may not know, but we get a smaller percentage of our property tax than any other city in the state of California. So we are a resource limited city. We call that a minimum service city, by the way. And so when you look at capital projects, we have a unique process. Rather than budgeting capital projects on an ongoing basis from our current year, we wait until the year is over. We see how much excess money we have, and then we program that money for the future years. So we're never in a situation where we are counting on money that hasn't come in yet to fund a project. A second major philosophy of our city, and you kind of hit on it, Manny, is that we rely heavily on partnerships and grants and cooperation. And so I want to talk about a few of the projects that go on within our city. You mentioned Prospect Road. The only thing that you left out was the median is bee friendly. Oh.
We need our bees. We need those.
And we actually got 2 grants from PTA. And the total project was $7.3 million, and we only put up $760,000. So very highly leveraged within our city. We're going to see the bocce ball courts today. That was a partnership project. The city put up part of the money, and the citizens put up part of the money. This very floor that you sit on is a partnership. So how does a project become real within our city? Well, staff has projects. Council members can co-sponsor. It takes 2 council members to sponsor a project. We collect all those projects up, and every year we put the whole list on the board, and the council decides which ones are going to be real projects and which ones are not. Just because it's real doesn't mean we have money. There are other elected officials in here. You know you have hundreds of millions of dollars of project where you don't have nearly that much money. Am I right, Joe? Yes, everybody lives this. And then we take what limited funds we do have and we spread it amongst the projects. Again, with the philosophy of trying to figure out how to leverage money. So let me mention a couple projects that are going on. The senior center was completed. That was a partnership. We have projects coming up. We're going to redo the whole facade of the building to give a real interest to the senior center. That's a city-sponsored project. The smallest sponsored project within our city is $20,000 a year for public art. Yan and Mary Lynn sponsored that project, and that's an ongoing grant. The largest ongoing project in our city is road maintenance, and we have worked through the recession to bring that up to a level of $2 million a year, and I'm proud to announce that last year we achieved that goal, and we're maintaining it this year. That was a staff-driven project. I got a whole list in my pocket, but everybody's bored already. So, we will be redoing in the coming year a few things that matter. This intersection here at Allendale by Redwood will be redone. That's a capital improvement project. 2021 will be replacing the bridges on Quito Road. That's the second largest capital project in the city, almost $5 million. And again, the vast majority of that money is coming from grants. It neighbors Los Gatos, so we are the lead agency, but we are notifying 3 times as many people in the city of Los Gatos as Saratoga about the project and what's going on. It's good stewards. And then a project near and dear to my heart, after at least 20 years, and maybe longer, with the help of the county, and with the help of Mid-Penn Open Space District, and the voters of 2 counties that approved Measure AA, we are going to, cross your fingers, cut the ribbon on the Saratoga to the Sea Trail, the $2.8 million project. The last phase is $2.8 million. Half of that funding is coming from Measure AA, and the other half is coming from the city. And then in terms of projects that are upcoming, that have been proposed, another project with Yan, 6 months, 3 projects proposed by Yan. The koi pond at Oconee Garden. There's no way we can refurbish this regional asset just by ourselves. But money has been put up by the Oconee Foundation for a detailed master plan, and in February, we as a council will debate putting additional funds from the city in an actual fundraising effort, and hopefully we can get partnerships with other cities and jurisdictions near us to figure out how to renovate the koi pond at Oconee. So there's a ton of projects. I could go on for years about all the projects. The process is complicated only because we lack money. And we do the best that we can and leverage every penny that's available.
Well, you know, one fabulous example of that I'll bring up is the RIDE program. This was a program that was a 5-city project that every single community had to chip in some money to help get this off the ground, to make it affordable. The county put up a third, VTA put up a third, and the rest of the communities that are served, Campbell, Cupertino, Montecito, Los Gatos, and Saratoga, each pulled together, leveraged each other's resources to allow this program to deliver up to 5,000 rides a year to seniors who are isolated, who are without service, and who may not live in close proximity to public transportation. It's affordable, people are able to go where they want, when they want, and we have several people here today that have used the program and have spoken up for it when funding challenges happen. So you guys have been a wonderful example of how to pool resources together and make a lot happen with a little bit. So, again, as the mayor said, none of this would have been possible without the dedication and work of all the staff of the city. They're just an incredible team of people to work with under James and Lindsay. We have bocce outside, and in the senior center, we have resource tables. Scoop and Stick has the ice cream, and we have cannolis, and we also have wine. We also have an accordionist here to serenade us as we play bocce.